Hi, hello, namaste, vanakkam, adab. This is Yobag Hunter Kader. So the today's topic is what is mean by test case, why we need to write the test case, what is the template which we can use for the test case writing, and how we are deriving the test cases from the test scenarios. So don't waste our time. Let's move on to the screen. Yeah, let's start. What is meant by test case? Simple terms, test case is nothing but it is a simple document which consists of all possible scenarios to test the developed application. So we can say the test case as normally it is a simple document so which describes the procedure to test a developed application, and it is having some steps like what is test case ID, test case name, and type of testing. So the test case template I will explain you in a few minutes. Okay, now the concept is like what is mean by test case, and what is the difference between test scenario and a test case. Okay, so the test case is nothing but it is a simple document and which consists of the procedure how we can able to test the developed application. So here I am saying that the test scenario is nothing but it will contains it is also like a document but it contains in simple words, and and it will consist of like what to do. So like, for example, developers are developing the application and they're handing hand over to the testing team. So at that moment, no, the testing team has to be perform the testing, right? But test scenario in this situation, the test scenario is saying that what to do, like from the developed application what we have to do. That test scenario is saying, as coming back to the test case, it is saying that uh, how we can do our testing in the developed application. That's what I differentiated 3 points over there between the test scenario and test case. The first point is saying that the test scenario contains the details of what to do, and test case is it contains the details of how to do. So how to do in the sense like it will have some steps like how we can navigate from one step to another step, and from those derived steps we are testing our developed application. Okay. The second one is it is a one line statement. Test scenario is a one line statement. Just we are saying that verify the Gmail login functionality. Just I'm saying in a simple sentence. That is one line statements. But test case is not like that. It will consist of the detailed information in the document. So that means it will having the some procedures like how to test the Gmail login functionality, like a valid email address, valid password. That is one test case. Invalid email address, invalid password, that is the second test case. Like whenever I'm saying the invalid means the step is getting differentiated from the first step. In the first step, valid credentials in the sense the test case is different. Like I'm verifying the login functionality with the valid credentials. In the second time, I'm verifying the same developed application in the with respect to the invalid credentials. So these kind of things for valid or what steps we need to follow and how we need to perform our testing in the with respect to the valid email and password. Those kind of information will be available in the test case. So here I'm saying Gmail login as an example. And the third point is it is not a time consuming process, because as I said earlier, it is a one line statement, so it won't take much time for the process. Like whereas a test case it will take some time, like it is a time consuming process, because we have to write all the steps like whenever we are going to perform the testing, no, we have to write the each and every step detailedly, right? We are saying it is a document, so each and every step should be understandable with respect to the other persons, like whoever going to perform testing. It is not done by one person, right? In the testing team there will be many people who are going to perform the testing. So at that moment, if, this particular document should be very clear and understand. So to develop that kind of document, it will take some time, like write the test steps and module names and test case names and test case ID. These kind of things we need to implement in our test case template. Then only it will be very easily understandable. So I think you got some information about this test case, right? Once again, I'm saying on test case is nothing but just it is a document which consists of the all possible scenarios to test the developed application. So I'm moving back, moving to the next slide. So here, why we need to write the test case? as we know that what is mean by test case, we are all aware of the test case. The next thing is like why we need to write the test case. So here I have few points, like 4 points I described here, why we need to write our test cases. So actually, whenever we are performing the testing means, then we need have a evidence, right? What are all scenarios we tested, and what are all the past scenarios, and what are all the failure scenarios in the at what point of time the application is getting failed. All these things will be coming. But today I'm testing means I can able to say, I can report to my manager or to the client, like we have tested these many test cases, and these are getting passed and these are getting failed. But if after some time, like after 1 week or 4 days or 5 days, if someone is coming and if they are asking the status, means we are not in a position to, we can't able to remember all the points in our mind. So that's why we are going to write the test cases. Just what we are doing is we are just capturing whatever the data, like whatever the testing we are performing in our developed application, we are documenting that all the points in a proper template. So the first point here I'm saying is, by writing a test case, we can maintain the consistency. So without writing a test case, we cannot maintain this consistency, right? How I'm saying the consistency is like by writing the test case, for example, if you are considering the Gmail login functionality, here I'm providing the valid email address, valid password, and I'm going to log in. So that is one test case. The second test case, I'm going to provide the invalid credentials and checking how the developer application is behaving. Then coming back to the email perspective, like I'm going to enter the email, right? Then there where I'm checking with like only with the first name of the user or alphanumeric values and whatever it may be. It depends upon the project standards, like the particular email field, what values it is going to accept. So those kind of things we are going to perform in our testing with respect to the test cases, right? So with all this consideration, I can say by writing the test case, we can maintain the consistency of the application. Okay. The second thing is, like second point here I'm describing, by writing a test case, we depend upon the process rather than the person. For example, I'm testing the particular application in the payment page. So this time I documented with the along with the steps, like how to perform the testing. So I no need to depend upon the person. Like for example, today I'm here in this particular project. Okay, I'm going to work with this particular module. After some time I'm moving to the some other module or some other project. At that time, if you want to execute your test cases or test your developed application, with respect to test case, you no need to depend upon the person. Actually, the process will be there in the test case document. By following that process, you can able to perform your testing successfully. That's why here I'm saying that by writing the test case, we depend upon the process rather than the person. No need to depend upon the person. Okay, the next point is, here I'm going to say, by writing the test case, we are saving the time to train every new test engineer. For example, in this particular project, there are few people, like initial days, like 4 to 5 test engineers are there. They are performing the testing. Okay, mean after some time, if the test engineer strength got increased, okay, at that moment, no, if they are going to perform regression testing or functional testing or whatever it may be, at that moment, no, we no need to explain each and everything to the newly joined test engineers. By providing this detailed document to them, they will easily understand, because they will already have the minimum knowledge on the application. If we are providing the detailed document to them, we are saving our time. Okay, we are not going to explain each and everything to them, because the document itself, it is having the steps how to perform the testing on that particular developed application. So by easily they will navigate to the those steps and they will perform the testing on the developed application. So that is my third point. And the final point is, this is the main important point. So why we are writing the test cases? So we need to provide our tested scenarios, and whatever we performed our testing, no, we need to provide the evidence to the customer, right, on the developed application. So by writing the test case, we are giving the proof to the customer, indicating that we have tested the application in all possible scenarios, whatever scenarios are there, like whatever testing is there, like a functional, non-functional, performance testing, stress testing, these kind of testings are there, no. Whatever we perform the testing on the developed application, we are clearly documenting those uh, testing types into the test cases, and we are giving that particular proof to the customer, indicating that we have tested the application in the all possible scenarios and it is ready for the move to the live. These kind of information we are going to give. So by writing test cases, we can cover like consistency, we can depend upon the process rather than the person, and we are saving the time, and we are giving the evidence to the end user. So that's why we need to write the test case over here. So moving to the next slide, here I'm going to describe about the how we can write the test case. So before writing the test case, as a test engineer, you should have knowledge on the application. Like we are getting the requirement from the customer, and which is gathered by the business analyst or product analyst. So they're gathering the information and they're preparing the documents, right? Like requirement documents, and they're going to provide to the development team and testing team as well. So after getting the requirement, after completion of the analysis, you are going to start the writing the test cases. Okay. So how you are writing? No, first you have to identify the scenarios. So for example, they are saying about the model which they are going to implement is like a login functionality in the application. So you need to get the clear information from the login, like what values we need to provide, and what is the exact that particular email is going to accept, what and all values it is going to accept, and how much length it should be accept, and the password, how the password should be, like how many characters should be like, and what are the combinations of the password, like it will only accept the numeric values or alphanumeric values or special values. So all this information will be available in the requirement specification document. So after reading and analyzing that particular document, you are going to identify the scenarios, like how we can able to like test this particular login functionality or login module. So once you are identifying the scenarios, you need to convert that particular scenario into the test case. Okay, so after gathering the information, you are identifying the scenarios, and from those scenarios, you are going to convert that particular scenario to the test case. After completion of writing the test case, what you have to do is you need to send it for the review. Either it may be the peer level review, or your lead or your manager, whoever higher than you, they are going to review your test cases. Depends upon the, they will also cross check all the test cases, like whatever written by you, they will cross check all your test cases with respect to the requirement, and they will provide the review. Once you got the review comments from them, what you have to do is, if they are saying like everything is good, you just no need to fix the review comments or verify the fixes, or just you can send it for the approval. Okay. But if they are saying something like if the step needs to be added, like if the 10th step needs to be modified, or between the ninth and the 10th step you need to provide the some other step for the navigation, this kind of information they will provide. As a reviewer, he will have different thoughts, right? Because uh, mm, both will won't have the same thoughts. So depends upon his thoughts, he will provide some information to you with respect to the requirement. So if he's saying like we need to add a few more cases, like a few more negative cases, then that time definitely we need to add those test cases, and we need to fix the review comment, and again we need to send it for the approval. Once the approver is approving your test cases, you just need to save it is in the save your test cases in the test case repository. Here the test case repository is nothing but the place, like in one place we are saving all our test cases. Just the place itself, it is calling as a test case repository. Okay. So you got knowledge about writing test cases, right? First, you need to analyze and complete the analysis of that particular application which we are going to develop, and you need to identify the scenarios. You need to convert those scenarios into test case, and you need to send it for the review. After getting the review comment, fix the review comment, verify the fix one more time, and send it for the approval. After getting the approval, just store that particular test case in the test case repository. So the test case repository will consist of all test cases whatever applicable for this particular application. It is the place we are going to store the all our test cases. Okay, whenever the developer is giving build to you, just start executing your test cases. That is the test execution phase. Here we completed test case writing phase, and once the application is hand over to the test engineers, so the test engineers from their test cases, already written test cases, they will start the execution. Yeah, here the next thing is like test case template. So you can observe that here in the right side, I can say this as a uh, header of the test case template, and the below one is like footer of the test case template, and the middle one is the body of the test case. So here you can observe that like the first one is like a test case ID. So it is saying about we are just giving the name to the test case. So in the project, like generally naming convention depends upon the project standards. Like here I given it as a TC001. So depends upon the project standards, you can change the value to this particular test case ID. It is not test case ID is nothing but just we are giving the name for the each and every uh, test case. That is the value which we are going to provide the test case ID. Okay, the test case name itself, it is saying that so whatever the test case we are going to perform, like whatever test we are going to perform. For example, here I have given like verify Gmail login with the valid credentials. So that is my test case name. Okay, so the next thing is like type of testing. So we have functional and non-functional kind of things, right? So if this particular test case is belongs to functional, just provide the value as a functional. So it is saying exactly, it is indicating that what type of testing we are going to perform, and what it contains, like test case contains. It is functional test case or non-functional test case. Those kind of values we need to provide over here. The next one is like module name. This is saying about the test case will indicate the module which under test, like uh, this particular test case indicating that it is belongs to the login page, or it is belongs to the home page, or it is belongs to the payment page. So these kind of things will be there, like we will have different modules, right? So this particular value is saying about this particular test case belongs to which module. So the next thing is like severity. This is saying about that in the test case, it will indicate that how important the test case is from the business point of view. Like the login is very critical one, right? Because once the login is not working, so the we can't able to perform the other testings in the application. So the login is the main kind of thing with respect to the business point of view. So I'm giving the value as a critical. So with respect to your test case, you can able to change this particular severity of the test case. Okay, the next one is precondition. So the precondition is nothing but it is saying in the test case, uh, it is saying about the what are all the settings we need to be done before executing the test case. That means, for example, if you see here, valid username and password. I'm going to verify the Gmail login. So for this particular Gmail login, I need a precondition as valid username and valid password. Then only I can able to log in. So the second thing is like user should be created. That means once if the user is created registered means, then only we can able to log in. Without registering the user, we can't able to log in the application, right? So that's why I given the two preconditions for this particular test case, that is verify Gmail login with the valid credentials. So that is the precondition number one is valid username and valid password is required. The second thing is user should be created in the application, then only we can able to execute our test case. The next one is like test data in the header. That means what are all we require, like for example we will have like different environments, like that environment urls we require, like we are going to test this particular application in the qa environment or dev environment or pre-prod environment. Those kind of information we require, right? Along with that urls we required a email and password for this particular test case. So here the test case is like we are going to verify the login functionality. For that login functionality, what and all required, email and password is required. So I'm giving the test data. So here I marked it as a start. So you can replace this with your exact data, what is exact email and what is exact password, we can able to perform over there, we can able to give, and we can able to save our test case template. Okay, so header part you are clear, I think so. Once again I'm giving a simple manner explanation. The test case id, we are giving this just to identify each and every test case, we are going to give this test case id. And the test case name, we are giving like test case name depends upon the project standards, we are going to give the test case name over here. Like the next one is like type of testing, it is like functional or non-functional or ua related kind of things, we are going to give the value. The module name depends upon the module, this particular test case belongs to which module, we are going to provide the module name over here. The severity, with respect to the business perspective, we are going to provide the value to the severity of this particular test case. And the precondition, here what are all the settings we need to do before we are going to execute that particular test case, that is saying about the precondition. And test data, what and all we required to execute this particular test case, those values we are going to provide in the test data. So coming back to the body of the test case, here you can observe that step number, the steps or actions or description, and expected result, actual result, and status. This is the main part for the test case. So without having this also we can able to move on, but depends upon the project standards, we need to provide these values. And but these steps are very important by writing the test cases. So here I'm saying about the steps, actions, or description. This is nothing but, for example, you are testing your application, and if you found some bug, you are going to give this particular failure test case to the development team. Like this test case is got failed. Okay, so how we need a steps to reproduce for that particular bug, right? So that's why we need to write the steps in the test cases. By using these steps only, we are going to perform our whole testing on this particular Gmail login functionality. So here the step is like the first step I'm saying about launching the browser, like it is a Chrome, Firefox, or Edge, whatever it may be. And the second step I'm entering the URL, and the third step I'm providing the email address in the email field, and clicking on next, and clicking giving the valid password in the password field, and clicking on the next button. So likewise, we need to perform each and every testing with the proper steps, like from starting steps to end step, we need to provide the step of the test cases. So that's why we are using here the step actions or description. So when the first step you are launching the browser, so what you are expecting is browser should be launched. So if it is not getting launched, you have to provide the actual result. Browser is not launched, and you can give the status as failed. So once you are launching the browser, it is getting success. Browser is launched. At that moment, you just give the status as pass for this particular step. The second step is like entering the URL into the browser. Once the browser is open, as you know, we are just providing the URL to that particular browser. So what it has to be do, right? Whenever you are entering the URL and providing enter keyword, then what will happen? No, login page should be displayed for this particular step. Okay, so if it is displayed, I will give the status as pause. If it is not displayed, I will give the status as failed. Okay, the remaining steps I'm not going to perform because I blocked with this particular I blocked this with this particular step. Okay, the third step is I'm going to give uh, giving the enter correct exact valid email address in the email field. So email should be entered. The next step is I need to click on the next button. So the next button will give the other page, that is the password field. Once if I enter the password, the I'm clicking on the next button in the next step. So login should be success and Gmail inbox should be displayed for me. So this is how we need to write the steps for the each and every functionality verification. Here I provided TC001 for the verify Gmail login with the valid credentials. At that moment, the expected result will be Gmail inbox should be displayed. So if I am going to verify the next case, that is TC002 with invalid credentials, so my expected result will be D4 with respect to the steps. So here I'm providing the invalid email address. At that moment, what should be happen? No, I will get an error message in the application. So I'm not able to move on to the next step, that is the password step. At that moment, what will happen? No, if the corresponding error message is displayed, I will provide the status as pass to that particular uh, step. Okay, if even if I enter the invalid email address, if it is application is accepting, that step is failed, so I will update the status as failed. So these, like this, we need to derive our test cases and we need to write the test steps for that particular derived test cases. So coming back to the below one, like if you see here, this is the footer session of the test case. We can say the author is nothing but whoever writing the test cases, we can consider that particular person name as a author. So we are sending, as we saw that after writing the test cases, we are sending it for the review, right? Whoever reviewed that and whoever giving the approval, so that corresponding name we need to provide it here, like approved by. So approval date, on what date the approver approved our test case, that we are going to give the approval date over here. And the next thing is like last one is last modified date. So when you are doing, you are not going to do this particular test case execution in one time, right? You are going to perform it in the smoke testing or regression testing or and sprint wise testing. So you are going to perform you are picking some test cases and you are going to perform your testing. And if something is added to the code, like patch kind of things added, means again you are going to perform your basic and critical features, right? At that moment also you are going to modify the steps according to your application behavior. You are going to modify your test cases. At that moment also, we need to update the last modified date. If something addition or deletion is going to happen in this particular test steps, so that particular date we need to give in the last modified date.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching the full video. Please let me know if you have any doubts in the comment section. So I will reply back in the comment section itself. So in the next video, I'm going to come up with some new other topic. Until then, tata, bye bye, see you.